This is Michael Jordan's best week since June 1998. His front office just landed LaMelo Ball with the number 3 pick, then signed Gordon Hayward to a 4-year, $120 million deal. This video reacts to that massive contract for a franchise player, the biggest free agent in Hornets history, and we break down the 3 teams affected most: Charlotte, Boston, and one other team with cap space. Hey, it's Casey. Welcome to AM Hoops. We're just dropping videos all the time now, but our official schedule is Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Hit subscribe and hit notification bells. It's more important than ever to hit notification bells because, again, we have breaking news all the time. It's a crazy week in the NBA. Now, Gordon Hayward has been injury prone and mostly disappointing the last few years. Some will say this is an overpay, but they're wrong. The biggest free agent the Hornets have ever signed was David Wesley in 1997. Oh, that's right, you've never heard of him because he was a journeyman, 0-time All-Star. If the Hornets want a legit free agent, they need to pay a lot. It's not an overpay, it's reality for small markets. On the Hornets, Hayward is a franchise-level player who scores at all 3 levels and creates offense. Last year, he averaged about 18 points, 7 boards, and 4 assists, shooting 50% from the field, 38% from 3, as the 4th option. And that's really the biggest element of this whole Gordon Hayward deal, is that Hayward will be in a much better position, in a better role in Charlotte. That was the plan originally in Boston. He was supposed to be the go-to guy leading a young, growing, talented team. Instead, Hayward had a horrible leg injury in his first game in Boston. While he recovered, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum matured, and by the time he returned, he was behind those guys and Kemba Walker. If people think Hayward is overrated, it's because they've seen him in a misused role the last 3 seasons. And they didn't just land him with a payday here. I mean, 6 years ago, Charlotte signed Hayward as a restricted free agent to a max offer sheet. That forced the Jazz to match it and keep him. He ended up going to the Celtics after that, but obviously he never forgot the love that Charlotte showed. A report also said Michael Jordan himself called Hayward the night before to close the deal. I think that helps. So obviously this is great for the Hornets, and we'll get to possible playoff potential later. But first, this is a horrible day for the Boston Celtics. They went from a possible sign and trade with the Pacers to losing Hayward for nothing. Reports said that Hayward wanted to be a Pacer. Indy doesn't have the money to sign him, so they'd have to trade Miles Turner to Boston, maybe Victor Oladipo too. Obviously, the biggest hole in the C's roster is center, and Turner would have been a great addition. Instead, the Hornets waived Nicholas Batum to clear cap space, and Hayward just walked. In the past few years, Boston has watched really good players leave without any obvious way to replace them. Al Horford, gone to Philly. Kyrie Irving to Brooklyn. Now Hayward to Charlotte. One big way that teams stay competitive is by trading away players they're not going to keep so that they get something in return. It's why the Warriors did a sign and trade, getting D'Angelo Russell for Kevin Durant. It's why the Pelicans got 3 good young players and 3 first-round picks for Anthony Davis. Danny Ainge and the Celtics front office have totally dropped the ball. If they knew Hayward could opt out and leave, they should have traded him before the bubble. So next season, the Celtics will be down an all-star level player that raised the game of their young guys. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were just better when Hayward was healthy. This loss hurts them even more as the shallowest contender in the league. The C's were essentially 6 deep with Kemba, Jaylen, Hayward, Tatum, Daniel Tice, and Marcus Smart. A loss like this cuts deep. On the flip side, the Hornets get a lot better, and actually, I think signing Gordon Hayward is a huge win for LaMelo Ball. Normally, a top draft pick goes to a really bad team with 0 talent. That guy is thrown to the fire, expected to save the franchise, and usually fails. Instead, LaMelo has a franchise player in Hayward and a vet in the backcourt with Terry Rozier. LaMelo fell to Charlotte at 3 on draft night, because a lot of people thought he was the best talent, could have gone number 1. His stock fell because of maturity questions, but assuming that was overblown, I think the Hornets got a future all-star. He is a creative passer and a great ball handler. The improvement areas, though, are defense and shooting. In the NBL, LaMelo shot just 46% from the field and 25% from downtown. He's got weird shooting mechanics, which is awful, but just look at how his brother Lonzo has developed in 3 years. From 31% from downtown to 33%, now 38%. LaMelo's shot will absolutely come around too. The dude hits 82% of his free throws, the touch is there, and it was a really weird situation in Australia. He was ball hogging, throwing up all kinds of shots to show off. He was the best player on the court. That will not be the case with Gordon Hayward as a teammate. But there is a third team that hated the Hayward to the Hornets move, and that's the New York Knicks. I thought for sure when Fred VanVleet went back to Toronto, the Knicks had Hayward. But oh no, the Hornets outbid them at $30 million a season for 4 years. My question is, why? The Knicks had $35 million in cap space, the second most in the NBA. Who are they saving it for? Giannis next year? Kawhi? The truth is, James Dolan's team hasn't landed a big-name free agent since, I don't know, Latrell Sprewell in 1999, Allen Houston in 01. They had a chance to get an all-star caliber player, and they let him go. That is a mistake. Now, to a lesser degree, yes, this does hurt the Indiana Pacers. We already said they were interested in doing a sign and trade, but Hayward was able to go to the Hornets for more money. In the end, the Pacers still have options. There are trades out there to be made for Miles Turner and Victor Oladipo. The Knicks, on the other hand, have no backup plan. There are no all-star caliber free agents on the market, so they're stuck with a roster starved for talent, and their star rookie is Obi Toppin. The problem with free agents to New York isn't James Dolan, it's the culture he creates. But if the Knicks had Gordon Hayward and Tom Thibodeau, a new culture would begin to take shape. Instead, there's a new culture and a revamped roster in Charlotte, and I think they will make the playoffs next year. The Wizards, Bulls, and Hawks will be competition for the Magic's 8th seed. DC, obviously the biggest threat, but John Wall just asked for a trade and things are pretty chaotic. The Hawks have not blown the league away with how they've spent their cap space, so I think the Hornets, who were just out of the playoffs last season, make it in 2021. I mean, look, no one saw this coming. This is a huge day if you're a Hornets fan. Initially, Hayward wanted to be a Pacer, then, oh, the Knicks were going to get him when Fred VanVleet went back to Toronto. But I don't know, MJ comes in and wins this thing at the buzzer like he's done so many times before. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.